Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Edwards with cookingwithkimberly.com. Today is a weekend day. It's a Sunday, and I am going to make something a little bit frivolous. I seem to have to make a lot of meals during the week, and I want to just do something kind of fun and different. And today I'm just going to actually make some ingredients, things that I can use for variety in my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make flavored finishing sugars. Now, finishing sugars, think of like the truffle oil or the sesame oil that I told you about. You don't actually cook with it per se. You use it at the end as a je ne sais quoi, a little something that just brings some brightness and excitement to a dish. It's something that you typically probably don't make at home. It's really easy to do. Super inexpensive. Sugar is one of the most inexpensive ingredients you can find. You don't need a lot of flavoring to be able to infuse a whole bunch of sugar. When I make flavored sugars, I don't make huge batches because, again, I'm not really cooking with them, not baking with them either. If I want lemon sugar, I'm going to just add lemon zest right to my batter of my whatever with the sugar. This is more so for on top of desserts or drinks or fruit, stuff like that. You could even use this for creme brulee, to blowtorch on the top. Just different things, interesting things, different things, exactly different. So what I'm doing today is I'm just taking plain old granulated sugar. Now, a lot of people will tell you that you need to pulse it up into the food processor and you need to make it more super fine, or you can buy super fine sugar. Not necessarily the case. If you feel like being a little bit lazy, then it's okay. You don't really have to do that. It's just an idea. It's a little more frou-frou, and I think what happens is it deters people from making things in their kitchen because it's too intense, it's too much equipment and stuff like that. So how about this? Don't stress out. We're gonna do it just like this, plain and simple. What you need is that sugar. Again, I'm going to make about a cup of each kind. Now I save my jars that I usually use. I think this had artichokes in it. I do jams and stuff like that. We do a lot of canning and pickling. So I have little jars around. And that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to show you down here. Today, actually, there's a lot of ideas for different flavored sugars. You can use spices, you can use fruit, you can use zests, you can use oils, you can use flowers and leaves and whatever you can think of that's food grade, right? Make sure if you're using plants, flowers, or leaves and stuff like that, that it was not treated with insecticide. Now I'm talking about flowers like geraniums and roses and things like that. Lemon balm that might be growing in your garden or something like that. Just make sure that you haven't sprayed insecticide. Make sure if you bought it as a bush or a little plant that it wasn't treated with insecticide. It probably is if it came from one of your country baskets out there where you buy plants and flowers at the nursery. So from seed is best. Grow it in your own garden or buy it food grade at the store or at your health food store or something like that. Today, I'm going to make lemon zest sugar. I'm going to make rosewater sugar. And I'm going to make green tea, matcha green tea sugar. I chose these ingredients because you probably have never made them. It's a little something more exotic, gives me a little variety in my kitchen. I really enjoy rose flavored anything. I've actually done a couple recipes on the site. Rosewater tapioca pudding is one of my favorite things. I will share the link with you in this post. But the reason I chose them is because they're completely different moisture levels, right? This is wet, it's liquid. It's not an oil, it's just water. This is zest. I'm going to be zesting the lemon. It's slightly moist because it's part of this fruit, right? And then the matcha green tea, completely dry ingredient. Okay, now what I'm doing is I've shown you this before when I made the watermelon rind pickles. This is just a funnel. It fits the lids of jars. Bam! See how perfect that is? Big jars, little jars, every jar. So I'm going to take the lids off of here. Okay. And I'm going to set them aside. What I'm going to show you first is the rose water. How about that? And we'll make that in the medium size. I'm going to bring you down here. Rosewater is probably easiest because it's simply just putting the liquid in the sugar. So I have the funnel, bam. Can you guys see? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna fill it maybe halfway-ish. Halfway. I'm going to put a couple of drops. You don't want to make this wet and really moist and wet. It's a totally wet ingredient. You're probably going to get clumps, so you really need to shake it up. And what I'm going to do as well is leave the lid off for maybe a couple days, just to make sure that it dries. Now, you have a couple options too. You can put it out on a cookie sheet, spread it all out, let it all dry perfectly and stuff like that. But don't stress, man. Don't stress. Put it in your jar. Shake it up. Even if it is a tiny bit moist. That's what brown sugar is like, right? And when you have to soften your brown sugar, you put a slice of apple in there and it gets a little bit moist, and that's what you want. So big deal, it's got a couple drops of wet in there. Who really cares? But you can leave the top open for a little while and let that dry out. Put the top back on, shake it up, make sure it dries out, and do it that way. So I'm just going to pour a couple. I'm just going to eyeball it. Maybe, what's that, about a half a teaspoon? It's a beautiful color, as you can see. Put this lid on, okay? I'm just gonna shake this up right now already with the sugar I have in there. That's tough, eh, guys? Okay, see how moist it is? I have chunks of rose water in there, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to shake, shake, shake vigorously. Vigorously, vigorously. Now, you could do this in your food processor too when you're doing the super fine sugar if you want to. But why do that if you don't have to? Okay, so I'm shaking that up. Now I'm going to fill the rest of the jar with sugar, leaving a little bit of room so I can actually shake. Okay. The smell is unbelievable. If you've never actually tried rose water anything, I highly suggest you do. You can also use organic rose petals and infuse the sugar with that. I would probably put at least maybe, I don't know, a dozen in there to really infuse that sugar. Okay, that's pretty much all she wrote, guys. If you smell that, it smells awesome. Now, you can also color these. You can give these away as presents. They're great gifts. I love these. I love getting food presents, just FYI. Other women probably do too, everybody. So you could also color this. You could put some food coloring in here, shake it up just the same. Just the way you would do bath salts or something like that, you would color them. But use food grade coloring, obviously. And it would be a beautiful color. Now, you don't need to because you have the flavoring in here, but you can put a little bit of red coloring. It'll make it more pink and beautiful and pretty. Now, sprinkle this. I don't know. Put this in your tea, maybe some green tea or some white tea. Ooh. I really enjoy using lavender and lavender oil, lavender water for sugars as well. It's just, I really enjoy flowery scents and flavors. Okay, next I am going to show you the lemon zest. Now the zest, you didn't get to see it the other day. For some reason my video cut out on my recipe, but I'm going to show you how to zest a lemon. Now you can use, I'll show you another thing. You can go to your home and garden store and get a tool. It's in the tool section called a rasp, and they're very, very sharp. It works awesome to do stuff like this. But this is a hand grater. You can use this. Ours is kind of getting not as sharp these days, and you just take the zest off the lemon. Now, the zest of the lemon, you don't want to go past this yellow layer. Now, underneath the yellow layer, everybody knows there's a white layer, and the white layer is bitter. It's called the pith. You want this outer layer that's bright orange. Same goes with if you're zesting grapefruit or lime or oranges or blood oranges, stuff like that, any citrus. You just want to grab the outside part. This has the oil. This has lemon oil in it. It is marvelous. It is very strong, so you don't need a whole lot. But today I'm going to really jack up this sugar to really make it flavorful. So I'm just using my handy dandy grater, my big daddy of all. I'm using the smallest side. Can you see that? It's much more sharp than my other one. Now I'll just show you. Now you're just gonna run this along. Let me grab a knife as well. You're just gonna run this here. I've already, by the way, wash and dry your fruit before you eat it. Use a veggie fruit spray or use soap and water, a plain old soap and water. Wash it under coolish water, dry it off. You don't want any pesticides and nasty, yucky, maybe waxes and gross stuff that you're not really supposed to eat, but it preserves it to stay in the stores. So anyway, this has been washed and dried. Now you're just gonna get the top, that layer I told you about. You're gonna try and get all the yellow off the lemon that you can. It doesn't take a whole lot of muscle. It actually takes a little bit of patience to make sure that you get all those little pieces. Don't waste it. It's awesome to use. If you don't happen to use it all, save it, put it in a little Ziploc or a little tiny, tiny bowl. Use it for fish or chicken or something like that. Even pork chops, lemon pepper pork chops. Use some freshly grated black pepper, some freshly cracked black pepper, I should say. So I'm just going all over the lemon. Now this is not as wet as the liquid rose water. It's slightly drier. It's slightly moist though. So beware. You're going to be doing the same kind of thing with this bad boy now as the rose water. Now here, I did a pretty good job. See how I don't want to get past that. I've even left a little bit of the yellow on just because I don't want any of that pith. So I've done it on the entire lemon. Now don't chunk this lemon. Throw it in a little resealable bag, throw it in the fridge. Basically it has no covering now. It's going to dry out very fast. So it doesn't have a protective layer. Put it in a bag, throw it in your fridge. Capiche? Okay, so let's get all of the zest here out. I have quite a bit of zest I'm happy about. Now zest is edible and it's not an issue to eat. In other words, you can eat as much as you like. You're not going to get sick probably. And everything in moderation. But no, it's an edible part of the lemon. The coloring is so pretty. I'm going to show you how much I have. That's about, what do I have? I don't know. A tablespoon and a half, I'd say. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the other, right? I'm going to throw in maybe about half of the jar. Can you guys see? I don't even know if you can see. There you are. Hi, guys. There we go. Fill about halfway. I'm going to put all my zest in here. Why not? Let's make it awesome. Okay. Eventually the sugar will completely dry the zest out. Put that lid on. Shake it up a bit. Preliminary shake. Take it back off. Oh my gosh, the smell is amazing. So nice. Okay, now I'm going to fill the rest, leaving a tiny bit open so I can actually keep shaking. Right? Shake it all in. Again, you can color the sugar with yellow food coloring if you like, or not. Hopefully my dogs don't start barking in the middle of my video. That would suck. Okay. That is amazing. I wish you guys could smell this. I mean, really. Oh, man. I would even slice up some apples and put this on, like just slightly. Or strawberries or blueberries. Oh, it'd be so delicious. Okay, so that's done. Bam. Rose water sugar, lemon zest sugar. Next, I'm going to do my green tea, my matcha green tea. Now, green tea, the matcha green tea is green tea that's totally super, super fine. I know we were talking about the super fine sugar, but this is super fine. It's a very high grade matcha. It's an expensive ingredient, in fact, if you're using the high grade. You can get other grades of it that probably are less expensive, but they're not as good, and that's what's up. So be very careful opening the containers. The powder is super fine. It's just all in the air already. You can make a huge mess in your kitchen, believe me, because I've done it. accidentally opening it the wrong way and stuff just flies everywhere. Oh, it's a mess. And it can stain. You don't need a lot of this in your sugar. It's going to turn your sugar green. A lot of people might feel funny about green sugar, but I don't have a problem as long as it tastes good. So I'm going to do the same thing, put this little funnel that's not really fitting in this little tiny thing. I'm going to fill it halfway. I'm making a smaller batch of this because not only is it a more expensive ingredient, but I mean, I'm not probably going to use green tea sugar as much as I'm going to use lemon sugar or rose sugar. Okay, so in this I'm suggesting, here's the tiniest little jar. Here's my green tea. You can get it at tea stores, specialty stores. You can order it online. I think I'm going to use a teaspoon of it. Now that's quite a bit, but I do want to really infuse this flavor. Now I've used green tea to even in my breadcrumbs to coat fish or pork chops or stuff like the chicken. And it works very, very well. This super fine green tea works very, very well. Be careful closing it. See how a mess it is? And even when you're being careful. Voila. Now I'm going to do the same thing as the rest of them. I'm putting the lid on, evenly dispersing it. The dry ingredients are amazing. Other dry ingredients that would be fabulous, cardamom. You could completely grind till it's super, super fine. Add it to that. That'd be wonderful. Maybe even some coriander would be beautiful. Again, the lavender. I like to cook with lavender. A lot of French cuisine uses lavender. I grow it every year in my garden, and you could completely dry it and then ground it to super fine powder as well. And there you go. Here, I'm gonna add a little bit more. Now, the dry ingredients, they mix so easily that you don't really need to leave a lot of space. There's no drying involved, so fill that sucker right up. Okay. Bueno. Now, hi. 1 second. Just because I haven't made the green tea sugar yet, I'm going to try it. So I'll try a little bit. That's awesome. That's awesome. Ooh, make that for sure. Any of these are beautiful in coffees and teas. I love tea, you already know. Try them out. Experiment in your kitchen, make fun things. Now look how expensive that was. If you put it in a nice little bottle, something like that, a ribbon on it, great presents. Make a couple different kinds. But now I have variety in my kitchen. Something I can experiment with when I'm cooking. Something more exciting, but super inexpensive. Easy to store. Really not a problem. If you wreck it, who cares? You lost, what, a cup of sugar? Big deal, right? All right. So be sure. Here, I'm going to show you my cool sugars. There they are. Okay. Be sure that you go to youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. Check out my show there. Also follow me on Twitter @cookingwithkime. Here's my sugars. Look how awesome they are. This is the green tea. This is the rose water. This is the lemon zest. Twitter @cookingwithkime with a capital E. Go to the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. I hope you really enjoy this video. Make sure that you comment. I want you to interact with me. Let me know what's going on. Tell me what kind of sugars you made. What did you use them for? How fun is that? Okay? Guys, eat deliciously. Have a great weekend. Ciao.